Hello, Sonder fam. Welcome to this evening's Sonder Social. If I have not hosted a social with you before, my name is Bailey Grady, and I will be hosting you this evening. I am dialing in from Hendersonville, Tennessee, which is just north of Nashville. If you're a Taylor Swift fan, that is that Hendersonville, Tennessee. I think that's really our only like claim to fame out here in this area. But welcome, welcome. It's good to see lots of familiar names in the chat. I also don't have the cool Zoom update yet to be able to react to things. So if you don't have it either, don't worry, you're not alone. I looked for it. It didn't present itself to me, but that's okay. It's coming. It'll come eventually, I'm sure. And then when it does, I'll be happy and I can do the cool things that some of you are able to do. If you are new here, welcome. The way this is going to work is we'll have a couple of activities together, including activities that are in your Silk and Sonder journal. We're going to go through those as a community, and I'll kind of give you some things up on the screen to kind of think about and ponder. And then you can, of course, chat with each other in the chat. In order to do that, make sure that your chat is set to everyone. A lot of the times it will default to host and panelist. And you can check that by looking right above where you type and just making sure that little drop down box says everyone. That way you'll be able to share with our amazing community here what's coming up for you and you're working on things. And I'll have music on for you to work on your pages and also chat in the chat and everything. As we go through, if you want to take screenshots of anything, feel free. However, this is recorded and you'll be able to find it usually within a day or so now. They're getting uploaded pretty quickly up on the YouTube channel if you need to go back and review anything or re-listen, or if you miss something or have to leave early, anything like that, no worries, the recording will be there for you. Also, if you're new, if you want to let us know that you're new, we'd like to give you a great big welcome. You've got an amazing community here full of long-time social attendees, so they're definitely going to be happy to kind of guide you through and encourage you through your first social, or if this is your second or third or whatever the case may be, definitely let us know. And also, we love to see your pages. So whatever you do tonight, if you want to share on socials and tag Silk and Sonder, they would love to see that and we'll probably reshare. But of course, you can also share in our Sonder Club app there. So going to go through our community guidelines real quick. So first and foremost, be kind and courteous to yourself and to others. No promotions or spam, please. And we respect everyone's privacy here, and we do not allow any hate speech or bullying. Wouldn't be a super good community if we did, right? And then if you would just limit repetitive product and accessory questions, we don't mind some chatter around that, but really Sonder Club is the best place for that because you'll get a lot more opinions and ideas about best pins and stickers and things like that there. If there's anything myself and the amazing Maya, who is my right-hand lady here tonight, in the chat, if she or I can't help you with something, we'll direct you over to hello@silkandsonder.com, which is the awesome team over at headquarters. And then finally, Sonder Socials are a tool to help elevate your emotional health through the power of community. That's all of you. But you're responsible for your own emotions, well-being, and decisions. And ultimately, that means we just want you to take care of you and to use this time in whatever way is going to fill up your cup the most. So if you need to hang out in the chat with your Sonder fam, that's cool. If you need to just be with your journal and not participate in the chat, totally fine. Do a mixture of both. Just hang out and listen to the music and come back and do this later. Again, whatever it is that you need. And likewise, if you need to skip a certain prompt and come back to it later, if any kind of like tough or hard feelings come up and you're ready to deal with those, we're happy to encourage you through that. But if you're not ready, it's totally fine to skip something and come back later. Again, that recording is going to be there for you to come back at a later time if you need to. So we just want this fastest hour in the universe to be whatever you need it to be. So we have an opening activity, and then we will do our flow journal prompts on page 14, and then we're going to close out with our vision board activity on page 18 of our journals. So our theme this month is flow. I'm sure all of you are aware of that by now. It's kind of wild. We're a third of the way through the month already. Time is flying by. And flow is kind of like described as being, just in that state of focused where time kind of disappears and you're really enthralled in what you're doing. And maybe it's something methodical, maybe it's something creative, right? You literally are in the flow of things. But I really liked these two quotes that I found to kind of describe flow. The first one is flow is being completely involved in the activity for its own sake. The ego falls away, time flies, every action, movement, and thought follows inevitably from the previous one, like playing jazz. I know time always seems to fly here in the socials, so maybe this is a flow space for some of us. But I really like this quote from Jay-Z that says, "Don't ever go with the flow, be the flow." And the reason that I like that so much is I think with the word flow, we do tend to use it a lot to say, like, oh, just go with the flow, be easy and whatever. But I mean, sometimes you need to like stop the flow. Sometimes you need to hop into a different river and go with a different current, right? You don't have to keep doing the same thing if it's not working for you. If you're trying to be in flow with something that isn't authentic to you, it's not going to work out. I don't think you're going to reach that flow, right? So make sure that when you're going with the flow, it's something that works for you, that aligns with who you are, and that it speaks to your goals and what you want and what you enjoy. I also liked this little graphic that I found that kind of explains the difference between like a mindfulness state and a flow state. Because for me, like I have anxiety, and when I was thinking about flow and flow state, I was kind of thinking about, oh, okay, so everything melts away and I'm supposed to just like be in the moment. Like, okay, so like meditation, like that doesn't seem like flow. And it's not, they're two different things. With mindfulness, your focus is intentional and on the present moment, versus with flow, it's more of a focus on a specific task or activity. Your effort is deliberate control of attention and awareness with mindfulness, whereas with flow state, it feels automatic, effortless, instinctive, right? It is those things of like you just lose track of time, and like the next thing you know, you've been working on that thing for 3 hours or whatever it is. I also like the outcome where mindfulness is increased calm, reduced stress, and enhanced focus, versus with flow state, it's high productivity, satisfaction, and enjoyment. It literally is something that lights you up to the point that you forget about everything else. It just melts away. And it's so nice because I think flow can be super unique to every single one of us. So, whatever flow is for you, I hope you're having fun engaging with it this month. We're going to start with our opening activity. And for this, you're just going to want to flip to a blank page or space in your journal. And we are going to kind of start welcoming in summer because it'll be here. I mean, it already feels like it's here outside, at least where I am. I don't know about the rest of you all. I saw some of you saying like heat index of over 100, and that's definitely what's going on here as well. So it feels like summer's already here, but the official like solstice is right around the corner. So this is a great activity to welcome that in. So on that little piece of paper, you're gonna number it from 1 to 10, and your goal is to write down 10 distinct things that you love about the summer season. So try to dig into those sensory details and get specific, like what do things feel like, taste like, or sound like? Is it the specific smell of rain on hot asphalt, the taste of a perfectly ripe peach or a slice of watermelon, the smell of sunscreen and barbecue? So we're going to make that list of 10. And then underneath your list, you're going to write 2 to 3 sentences saying how you can intentionally bring the feeling of one specific item into your schedule for the upcoming week. So, for example, if you wrote down late evening sunlight, how can you arrange your Tuesday or Thursday evening to actually pause and sit in it rather than rushing through your to-do list? So I will hop back to this slide, so don't panic. But here is my little, I just titled it like summer savor list, if you will. I said long hours of sunlight, fruity flavors and smells, fun playlist for outdoor activities, summer nights with warm air and the moonlight, the laughter of kiddos that are out of school for the season, long days by the pool with friends, fresh abundance of produce, the feel of shade and a breeze on a hot day, dresses, swimsuits, shorts, and t-shirts, and all of nature's sights and sounds like lightning bugs, frogs singing, birds beginning to learn to fly, bunnies leaving their burrows, all of those good things. And I told Maya I remembered that or realized doing this that summer is not actually my favorite season. It was actually a little hard for me to come up with this because all I could think about is how hot it is and how I just want to be by the pool. So it was actually kind of hard to like focus in and think about 10 things, but there are a lot of things that I do enjoy about summer. So it was nice to kind of focus and find what those things are. And then to answer the question, I said visiting one of our favorite local restaurants who just updated to their summer menu would be a great way for me to invite in some of these things like the fruity flavors and smells. And if we're able to go with friends, then that also brings that part in. But I've got a lot of different suggestions here about those five senses that may help to spark your memories and things about summer as well. And then I'll hop back and forth between these slides for you while you work on your pages. Definitely share for us what's coming up in the chat for you, what those like summer memories and things that you love are, and then we'll move into our next activity together. All right. Thank you all for spending a little time with this activity. It's nice to see I'm not the only one that struggled a little bit with this. I feel like I used to love summer, like when I was a kid, and not just because I was out of school. I feel like the heat was like a welcome thing for me instead of like something that feels so intense now. But yeah, there's definitely like something to love about every season of life or every season of the earth and the world and everything. Um, I think Daphne said it best of like, you just have to take a little bit more effort with some seasons over others. But there's a lot of good value in being intentional like that and finding the good and finding the gratitude because we got to live through summer whether we want it to be here or not, right? So we should lean in and find some things that we can enjoy about it because next thing we know, some of us will be in like 10 foot of snow and then we'll be wishing summer was here, right? So with that said, we are now going to hop over to page 14 of our journals and we're going to take a look at these flow journal prompts. Now, for these, we're going to kind of take them one section at a time on the page. And I felt like these were kind of like two-part little prompts all on their own. I was doing them and I was like, oh, this is like a question and then a question in each one of these boxes. So I thought it would be good to kind of break them up like this. So our first prompt here says, what does being in flow with your desires mean to you? And are there areas of your life where you're resisting the natural rhythm or forcing control? So I said being in flow with my desires means feeling no internal resistance. This doesn't mean that there are no nerves or there's never any hesitation, but it means no pushback from within myself. And then I said that right now I'm experiencing a lot of flow in my life, which is great. But because I have anxiety, it's very easy for control to slip in and to begin trying to drive my decisions. And it's really important for me to acknowledge this in order to remain in that flow, right? Because I can kind of anxiety is like often related to control, right? It is a mechanism of trying to control the world around you in order to feel safer or more assured or make things more predictable, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of instances where maybe I feel some hesitation or some resistance and I have to kind of check in with myself and say like, is this really how I feel about this, or is this anxiety trying to step in and like overcomplicate things, right? So this is time for you to think about what being in flow with your desires means to you. And I think it's good to think about that quote at the beginning, right? Of like, don't go with the flow, be the flow. I think this is totally relating back to that of what are your desires? What are the things that you want? What are the things that, again, fill up your cup, light you up, make you lose track of time? And what does it mean for you to be in flow with those things? And then what kind of season of life are you in right now? We opened with a seasonal prompt and thinking about your season of life right now and what your natural rhythm feels like. So again, I'll put on some music for you to think about this. If you're comfortable sharing in the chat what's coming up for you, we would love to hear it. And then after a bit, we'll move on to our next prompt. Okay. Lots of really good chatter in the chat about this being, a little bit more of a difficult prompt. And I don't disagree. I think this is one of those where it either hits you or it doesn't, and it may be one that you have to think about a little bit. But I think when it's saying, like, what does it mean to be in flow with your desires, you can be in flow in an activity that isn't really aligned to you or what you want, right? Like, there are things and tasks that I'm really good at and really good at accomplishing, and I can get sucked in and do the thing, but it's not necessarily what I want to do or something that's filling me up, right? So I think it is possible to be in flow with something that isn't aligned, maybe to the things that are for you, right? And I think if you're somebody that you're managing a household or kiddos or family members, if you're a caregiver, there's probably a lot of things you have to do in flow for other people. And sometimes like doing things in service for others can fill us up, right? And can light us up. But it just sits different when it's like close to your heart and your passion and what you care about versus like this is this task and I can do it for a while and I can get things done, but it doesn't really feel like it belongs to you, I guess. So I don't know if that helps at all, but there's some good conversation about that in the chat. So we're going to hop down to our middle prompt here. And this is asking us what activities, people, or environments help you feel most connected to yourself? How can you make more spaces for those in your daily life? So I said being outside, sharing a meal with people I love, my husband, my best friend, Disney World cruises, a slow Sunday at home, being by the water, being able to teach and help others. Those are the things that help me feel most connected to myself. And then my current life is so rich in these things, which I'm beyond grateful for. However, I could absolutely make more time for being outside by spending less time on my phone. And I could share more meals with friends by being intentional with my plans and my energy. So that's kind of how I can make more space for those things in my daily life. So maybe these prompts should have been reordered, right? Maybe with the conversation we were having a minute ago, maybe this would have helped to be like a lead in to that other prompt. I don't know. So if you had trouble with the first one, maybe give this one a shot, and then see if maybe you're able to do that other one later. So per usual, you'll find we're following a familiar pattern here. I'm going to put on some music for you all. Feel free to share in the chat, and then we'll move into our next prompt together. All right. Some really great insights from you all. I loved Kimberly's comment about how integral like the environment is to flow. And I think that's true for a lot of us. So that was some really good insight there. And then we're going to hop down to our bottom prompt here, which is when was the last time you felt fully in flow, where time disappeared and you felt completely aligned with what you're doing? Describe that experience and what made it so immersive and fulfilling. So for me, the last time when I was working on a recent work project that involved like team education. I had to learn a few new skills and learn the material myself to be able to make the content digestible. And I love learning and I like working on things that directly impact others, especially when it like improves overall process. So that's like an example of like, yes, I'm doing this for work and it's a work task, not necessarily like a me task, but this assignment was is so rooted in things that I really enjoy, which is learning and teaching others and helping things to get better, and making life easier for everybody. So this is kind of an example of one of those activities that can live in both places of like, yes, it benefits other people, but it also really gets me excited and lights me up. Maybe your example will be something that's totally just for you, or maybe it will also live in both sides there. But definitely let us know what comes up for you when you think about this. And feel free to get kind of detailed on what made that so immersive and fulfilling for you, because there could be some clues between those two bottom prompts that help you understand, oh, these are things that really help me to be in flow, and maybe I should seek those things out a little bit more. Alrighty. Hopefully, you're able to enjoy your time with these prompts and get a little bit more connected to you and maybe what some of the activities and are for you that can kind of bring you flow or bring you closer to figuring out what flow is for you. Hopefully, you also thought about some ways that you can actually incorporate that. We are now hopping over to page 19, which is our vision board. So if you haven't done a vision board before, typically the idea is to think about a goal or many goals that you have in mind, and then you want to visually represent those up on the page. Our prompt for this vision board says that we would like you to draw, sketch, or stick pictures of things that remind you of your goal and how you will achieve it. Now, for me, when it comes to a vision board, I usually have to start with something like this. I have to start with like, okay, what are some goals and things that I have that I want to do? And they can be things like in the immediate future, like maybe paying off some debt or maybe, trying to tackle some house projects, or they could be things further out that are more like a bucket list. Some people find that sticking to a goal that's going to happen within the next year or, the next 6 months or something helps them. Other people like to go pie in the sky, like, this is my big bucket list. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I want to try to work these small steps to make it happen. And then you put things on the vision board that remind you of that goal, achieving it, what it'll feel like, and also maybe some of the little goals that you will need to tackle along the way to kind of get there. So you want to include things that are also encouraging to you, that help to motivate you, right? So that you can kind of be encouraged as you're reaching that goal. But again, for me, I always have to kind of start with words to kind of wrap my head around what am I trying to focus on. So that's what I did. I just listed off a bunch of things that I have for goals for myself, things that I want to do. There's no timeline necessarily on the things that I listed. But once I had my list, I figured out, oh, well, if I circle this goal here, which is pay off debt, that supports my goal to go to Maine. It supports my goal to book another cruise. It supports my wanting to go to Disney again and replacing the floors in our house and getting a new car and going to Tokyo and seeing all 50 states, right? So this one goal actually supports all of these other goals. So that's the one that I want to focus on. And then for me, I usually like to just go into like Microsoft Paint or something and find some images on the internet that really speak to me and my goal and kind of like splice them together to make a collage. And then sometimes I'll print that off and stick it on my journal page. But you can, of course, use stickers, cut up actual magazines and things, whatever works for you. This time I decided to try something a little bit different, and I actually asked AI if it would make me a little vision board around like achieving all of these different things. And this is what it came up with. And I think it's pretty good because it makes it pretty clear that that debt-free goal is like very like center, like, oh, look at me, I have words. And then everything else is kind of like what will flow from achieving that. So I like the way that that turned out. Whoop, hold on 1 second. I think I have some other things here. Let me try to, there we go. So yeah, I liked the way that this turned out. So that was a good experiment for me. Here are some other examples of vision boards that might work for you. You can kind of see the broad collage thing of cutouts and stickers and different things like that. Again, you can focus on the actual goal, the outcome, how it will feel to achieve it, or you can focus on the process, like those little things you need to do to get to that goal or move forward, or how it will feel as you're moving through it. Use words of encouragement, use things that make you smile, make you happy, right? Because the idea is that this is a visual representation of your movement towards this thing. And a vision board can be, it can be very specific to a specific goal, like it says here, or it could just be like a general state of being. It could be working towards that flow state, right? We just did all those prompts around those things that hopefully help us feel more connected to ourselves. So maybe your vision board this time around is about what it looks like to be more connected to yourself and adding in some of those activities and things that we discussed earlier. So I'm going to put on some music. I'm trying to find some fun stuff to put on because vision boards should be fun, right? And then we will jam out together, hang out in the chat, and then close out our time together. It always goes by so fast. Well, friends, if you can believe it, our time together has come to an end. And if you're surprised by that, then maybe that means that you found just a little flow with us here this evening. Thank you all so much for spending your time together with us and being so engaging in the chat. This is the best thing about Sonder Socials is that we get to spend time together with our people, and all of our Sonder family are definitely our people. So when you finish up those vision boards, I know many of you are probably going to be working on them well into the evening or even later into the week. We'd love to see them in Sonder Club. So definitely share those with us. If you haven't already tried the Sonder Coach, currently you can try it for free and kind of share your feedback. Maya will pop some things into the chat for you. I love being able to use my coach. I especially love the fact that I can just text it now. I don't even have to go fully into the app, which makes it really handy when I just need a quick little bit of encouragement or advice. Also, very exciting, we have the mid-year reset coming up with Mayha. It is on June 16th, which is next week. It is next Tuesday, and it is free to join. So definitely come, invite friends. If you're like me and you've got those friends that know about this Silk and Sonder thing that you do, but they haven't actually given it a try, this might be a great way for them to dip their toe in and see what they think about all of it. So definitely sign up. I believe if you can't make it, typically they send out the recording if you go ahead and sign up. Maya's popping those in the chat as well. And then they're also doing this 7-day clarity reset challenge. This could be a really good thing to pair with the mid-year reset. So go to the mid-year reset and then check this out. I'm sure that they're going to be talking more about it there too. But if you want to go ahead and take a look, Maya will be popping those links in the chat as well. And then as we close out, I will share with you the links to my playlist. Per usual, I just have 3 massive playlists: the master, the instrumental, and the vocals. So it'll take me a second to grab all 3 of those links, but I will share them as we close out. Again, thank you all so much for joining us, for being together tonight, and for being here with yourself. And I hope that you have a great rest of your evening, and I hope all of us that are experiencing very hot weather get a break soon. Bye, you guys. See you later.